put in by the local tourism office and Newry District Council as well. No, everybody worked well. Everyone worked hard. Like I say, a lot of effort, a lot of time put into it beforehand, all the months in preparation, and it all worked out. Thankfully, the weather was relatively kind to us, but it was a decent weather day. It was great, and also the other things that we have heard from people, restaurant takeaways, selling out of fish, chips, that type of thing, crazy things like that.
They ate all the fish from the ocean.
Yeah, it was a couple of places were saying that. No, I don't think people were expecting the crowds to come down.
No.
Like, even in the best of 15th of August over the years.
Well, there's never been a 15th like it.
No.
It just was so. And you see, the lovely people who came off, they were of a certain age. They came off the Saga Pearl too. They mingled with such ease with the people of Warrenpoint. And you heard little, welcome, you're welcome, hello, welcome to Saga, you're with Saga, welcome. This was Warrenpoint at its shimmering best.
It was kind of strange to see that as well. It was strange to see so much goodwill toward everybody, but it was great. Everybody really took it into their
How do you
hearts.
feel this morning now that she's gone, she's been in, and there would be always, if you're taking a ship in from the sea, there are always issues to worry you, always.
Yeah.
No, she's been, and she's gone, and it's been good.
Right up to the last minute, there's always that, on Saturday evening, there's always that issue. What if a storm brews up? What if the vessel has to get diverted? Which, very slight chance, but it can happen. It could have been a disaster, but today, no, we're just happy that it's went well, and we're just looking forward to pushing on and hopefully securing another vessel.
Yeah, and the other thing, before we leave that, you were well capable of dealing with any emergency that came along. And you had a small emergency yesterday. One of the passengers took a little ill, and that passengers need to be looked after. You were able to tell the people about the good work that was done and how it all worked out.
Well, no, the nature of a shipping agent is the tourist side. That's completely different from what we usually deal with. So the very nature and essence of a shipping agent is to look after the needs of the crew, the passengers, and the officers. So in this case, a poor lady took ill with pneumonia, diagnosed by the doctor on board. So we just had to arrange for an ambulance to come and collect her. She's now in Daisy Hill Hospital.
And she's doing well.
She's doing well.
And you also made the arrangements for the accommodation overnight for her husband?
Yes, with her husband staying in the Canal Court.
But sure, this is good all the way. It's a win-win situation for everybody.
Everybody seems to have done well out of it.
Yeah. Now, of course, you were the deliverer of the ship. Warrenpoint Port and Peter Conway, and Peter's be with me tomorrow.
Yep.
It in a sense was the vessel to allow, the container that allowed the whole thing to happen. The excellence of Warrenpoint Port, very much to the fore.
No, it was. Everybody pulled out all the stops. Warrenpoint, as everyone knows, is a cargo port. So it was ideal that the vessel came on a weekend when there was no other cargo vessels about.
Yes.
So it gave Warrenpoint a chance to shine. It gave the Port Authority a chance to show that it can actually accept these type of vessels with the deep water, with the relatively long quay, 300 metre quay, but we still only have a maximum allowance of 165 metres, which is quite restricting. But it does open up the possibility of getting other vessels as well.
To bring such a boat and to look forward to bringing others is no easy job. Can you remember the moment, and we talked about it in this program after you had formed the dream in your head, but can you remember the moment, the first, that Archimedean moment when Mark O'Hare said to himself, do you know, Mark, I think myself and Rory could bring in a cruise liner. What was that moment?
It was, I think we started talking about it in June
2012.
2012.
Where did the idea come from?
It just came from the fact that we have a port. There's 17 other ports in the island that are taking in cruise vessels.
Yeah.
Warrenpoint has got the product. They have the Cooley Mountains on one side, the Mourne Mountains on the other side, the fjord. Why could we not take in cruise vessels? It's a perfect location, and that's kind of where it came from. Why not just go on and see what we can do?
So you then took it a stage further, and your attention turned to Saga. What drew you to Saga?
Well, I drew up a list of vessels which could actually fit into Warrenpoint.
Wow.
First off, and there's quite a few different operators that have vessels of that size. So then I just went about contacting them, going to see them, and Saga was the one company that really seen the potential with Warrenpoint.
But when you first made the contact, whether it was an email or a phone call or whatever, you got Mr. Saga's personal secretary, or you got the reception, and you said, "I'm from Warrenpoint, I want to talk to the boss." That's a moment they sort of say, "You're from where?"
Yeah, the norm would usually be, "Okay, I will get back to you."
Yeah, and they never do.
They don't. But you just keep pushing.
Yeah.
You just keep driving,
and keeping pushing and keeping driving, as far as point shipping was concerned, was what? What did you physically do to get to say, "Look, we're here and we're not going away"?
Well, these people, they're getting, it's not exaggeration to say, they're getting hundreds of emails, calls every month from new ports around the world. So we had to convince Saga initially, first off, that Warrenpoint can be one of these new ports, and secondly, that we can compete with the other Irish ports. Why send the vessel into Warrenpoint and not into Dublin or Belfast?
Yeah.
Which is so close. And
yeah, but I can probably answer that question myself, because you go into Dublin or you go into Belfast, you're into a heavily citified, to create a new word, environment. You're into a place of industry and heavy commerce. But once you leave first of all, you're coming up, there's nothing as you go up the Narrows into Belfast. It's industrial heavy land. There's nothing when you're coming up the Liffey into Dublin. But coming up to Warrenpoint, the beautiful azure pasture lands of Cooley and Mourne open up for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And were they aware of this, that such a place, such a paradise existed?
No, they weren't. We probably realised just what we had and the other shipping agents will say the same thing. When we'd be talking to the vessels, the cargo vessels that be coming up through the fjord, you get a feel from those people just what they think of the area. So we think, well, sure, if they like it, if they think it's a great site, why can't the cruise vessels who are always looking for this type of location?
Mark, obviously you were pushing, and the door wasn't opening, and you had to keep pushing. Was there a moment when Mr. Saga, so to speak, was saying, definitely not, then, well, maybe, tell me more, and then yes? What were those three moments?
Well, yeah, at that moment, I suppose myself and Peter Conway, we went over to Saga, over just outside Felixstowe.
Felixstowe, Kent, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. That's their main office, so myself and Peter, we went over there to have a face-to-face, because before that it was just phone calls and emails, and that's when you realise that, yeah, there's a bit of an interest, but you have to go the extra mile. You have to go and actually physically speak to these people.
So what kind of delegation met you when you went into Saga?
At the time it was nothing major.
How many people, for example?
There was two.
Two people?
There was two people.
How senior?
Yeah, it was the cruise director.
Wow, you got...
Well, it was actually, I suppose, the cruise director, Stephen Masters, and the itinerary planner.
Yeah.
We then met later on. We didn't meet face to face, but we had further contact with his seniors. And yeah, they then just seen it'd be ideal for their
Did you bring pictures
passengers.
with you?
We did, but we didn't have a lot of marketing at the time.
Oh, yeah.
That was the big problem.
Yeah.
We brought the Newry and Mourne brochures.
Yeah.
We brought pictures of the port, pictures that we'd done ourselves.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a hard sell actually at the time, even though we know what we have on offer here, but obviously we're more equipped now, more prepared.
Yeah, of course.
And we're going to be a lot more prepared now. Now that the vessel's in, now that we've something to show. Because before that, it's nice for a cruise line to see that there's other cruise vessels on the berth.
Yeah,
You know,
of
because
course.
they're thinking, well, if we're going to be the first one, how's the port going to cope?
Yeah.
Now they're going to see a cruise vessel. Now the next people that we speak to is going to see a cruise vessel in port.
Absolutely.
They're going to realise that it's
I suppose
possible.
the obvious question is, when you're looking out at the marketplace, the thing we often ignore is that the greatest market is to be found among those who have already done business with us.
Yeah.
Will Saga come back?
I hope so. I think so. I don't see why not.
Well, they'd love
The
to.
feedback was excellent yesterday, from all the passengers, from the crew, from the captains, from the officers. Feedback was great. So that's just initial feedback, and now we'll start working on developing that.
But the business of, Newry and Mourne turned out magnificently. You had street theatre, you had the musical groups, you had things we'd never dreamed of seeing in our part of the world, but they were there for Saga yesterday.
Yeah. No, they turned out, and it was a credit to everybody.
Where are your dreams taking you now? Well, whose door are you knocking on now, or can you tell us?
Yeah, well, I suppose I wouldn't say the company names, but
No.
there is quite a few companies beforehand had stated, expressed an interest.
Wow.
And they were just, I suppose I'm repeating myself, but as stated, it was a shop window. The other companies seen it as a shop window as well.
Yeah.
They've seen it as a test case. So now we'll just drive forward and see what happens from
Blink and we could be welcoming 10 in a year to start with.
that would be great.
Wouldn't it? It'd be a good
But
start.
the problem is,
Say one every 2 months. Well, of
It
course, they
would
wouldn't
be
come.
great.
They wouldn't come in winter. That's the other thing, would they?
no, the
No.
usual season would probably be around, absolute earliest would be April,
April.
but usually May to September.
Okay.
That'd be fair to say that in this area. But yeah, one of the issues that we're going to have, and maybe a lot of people will be wondering when the next one's coming.
Of course.
But itinerary planners plan 15 to 18 months in advance.
Yeah.
So straight away we're talking about 2016.
Yeah.
And
You
not
want to
really
get a
2015.
marketeer out there with a price list and a briefcase.
Exactly.
That's what you need. You need a man on the road ranging out from Warrenpoint. You need that.
Well, no, everybody's saying how well the port looked yesterday, how well the town looked yesterday. Everybody was excited about it within the port, within the town. So I don't see why not. I don't see why we can't have further vessels.
Well, I think that's an appropriate note on which to play the piece of music of Rod Stewart, where Rod, sailing is a lovely one. And I think we have that, Sean, have we? We have Rod Stewart for you now. Mark O'Hare, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Your uncle and my friend, now gone, John Donnelly, is smiling in whatever heaven he's in today.
Yes, indeed.
God bless you.
Thank you very much,
so
Ron.
much.
I am sailing home again, across the sea. I am sailing stormy waters to be near you, to be free. I am flying, I am flying like a bird across the sky. I am flying, passing high clouds to be near you, to be free. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Through the dark night, far away. I am dying forever.
It's, there we are. It's half past, what is it? It's now 8:30. It's been a full hour so far this morning of the Saga Pearl, Nauticalia, the maritime heritage that we have. So thank you to Mark O'Hare. And tomorrow morning we have the Chief Executive of Warrenpoint Port, Peter Conway, coming in to talk about his perspective on the success of the coming of the Saga Pearl. And at the moment, our documentary, the Gullion Media documentary, directed and produced by George Kingsnorth of Gullion Media. It's now, we shot it yesterday, and it's now in production, as we say, in post-production really, because they're into the business of editing and fine-tuning the sound and things like that, so that's all to come. Now, we had good weather yesterday, we have good weather today. The word is we're going to have good weather for all the time ahead this week anyway. And that takes us into the area of the sun. The sun takes us into the area of the risk of sunburn. That takes us into the area of the apothecary's care, the chemist. That brings me into the area of my lady of apothecary care, and her name is Maria Taff from McNally's Chemist, just up Monaghan Street, halfway along Monaghan Street. And she's talking today about sun safety, Sean. Well, it's Destination Newry, of course. It's the morning programme. I'm Rowan Hand. This is Maria Taff, our chemist, our